Hi friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome if you're new. I'm Cheryl, this is Table Full of Joy. And friends, I've got two exciting fall recipes for you guys for tonight. Super excited about these. I just did a grocery haul. If you guys missed it, I'll link it in the description box. Went to Costco, went to Kroger, loaded up on a whole bunch of stuff that we needed for this upcoming week. And I'm making a dessert tonight for a thing we're doing after church tomorrow. We're doing a training for our security team and our ushers. And so we're serving them lunch. And I was asked to bring the dessert. So I have a 13x9 foil pan. That way I don't have to worry about bringing pans home or anything. We're gonna give it a good spray with our Baker's Joy. And we are making a pumpkin tres leche cake that sounds fantastic. But I wanna make sure this cake comes out. I wanna make sure it comes out clean. So we're just gonna give it a good quick spray. There we go, that's ready to go. Let's head over to the mixer. This is a super, super easy cake to make. I'm excited to try this tomorrow. I'm gonna do the cake tonight. I'm gonna do the milk part tonight. It's gonna go in the refrigerator and sit overnight. And then in the morning while hubby's getting ready for church, I usually get ready first and then I come out and I feed our dogs, get all of our stuff ready for church. And so while I'm doing that, I'm gonna whip some cream really fast, put the cream on it, put the lid on it, and then it's done. I don't have to think about it again. So it's gonna be perfect. Let's head over to the mixer and get this done. All right, so it calls for a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. My pumpkin can was 29 ounces that I got from Costco. So I put about half of that in there. We need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Teaspoon of baking soda. We need a cup of brown sugar. I'm gonna put what's left of this bag because there's just a little bit left in here. Need a little bit of vanilla. I'm using pumpkin pie spice instead of all the cinnamon stuff that it calls for. So I'm gonna use about a teaspoon or a heavy teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice in there. We need 3/4 of a cup of oil. And we need 4 eggs. And that's about everything that goes in this cake. We're gonna just give it a quick mix. That's why I loved this cake today, because it was super easy. Minimal ingredients, nothing funny. It just all goes in the mixing bowl. We don't want the shell. These eggs from Fred Meyer this last time were horrible. They just kept breaking and just getting a ton of shell in there. All right, let's get that. All right, let's do these other 4 or other 3. Get those in there. All right, let's go ahead and give this thing a good mix. So here's our cake. I'm just gonna give it one quick little mix. We're gonna get this into our pan, get it spread out. It's gonna go in the oven. Oven is preheated to 350. It says it has to cook for about 20 minutes until the toothpick in the center comes out clean. We'll let it cool for just a little bit, and then we're gonna do the milk mixture that goes over the top of it. And like I said, this is gonna go in the fridge. It's gonna refrigerate overnight, and then in the morning while hubby's getting ready for church, I'll whip the cream for it real quick, and then it'll be off to church and in the refrigerator for dessert tomorrow. All right, let's get this in the oven. All right, friends, hubby just got home. We're gonna get our pot pies ready. He is super excited about having pot pie for dinner, and I'm excited to try this recipe. I love that this recipe is super easy. It uses the Grand's flaky, what do they call it? Flaky layers biscuits. And so what a time saver this is if you want to make pot pie and not have to worry about making crust or any of that kind of stuff. This is going to make it super, super simple. So let's get our filling made, and then we're going to deal with our biscuits. All right, so to make this super easy, friends, I'm using a rotisserie chicken because that is what I want to do. That is my favorite thing to do when I'm making chicken pot pie, is to use a rotisserie chicken. So since I was at Costco today, I grabbed the rotisserie chicken so that we can use that for our pot pie tonight. So we're going to use a can to make it super easy. We're just going to use a can of cream of chicken soup. And ordinarily I would make my own cream of chicken soup, but I'm keeping this simple for everybody else because not everybody has time to make their own cream of chicken soup. And so I want this recipe to be super easy for you guys, super accessible for everybody. But ordinarily, I probably, next time I make this, I will make my own cream of chicken soup. It's just what I do. But like I said, not everybody has time for that. And I wanted this to be a super easy, put together pot pie. I'm going to use a little bit of this caramelized onion butter seasoning in here just for a little extra seasoning in it. All right, I'm gonna put in some chicken, and I'm just gonna tear this chicken and put it in the bowl. I'm not gonna worry about chopping it, not worried about anything, not exact sizes. I'm just gonna add chicken to this, just mix it in here. So ordinarily I would put potatoes in my pot pie, but I'm not gonna do that tonight. We're just gonna keep this super simple and super easy. I think it's gonna be just fine with the biscuits and the chicken and the sauce. We're out putting a little bit of cheese in it. We like a cheesy chicken pot pie, so I'm going to put a little bit of grated cheddar cheese in it, and I think that's going to make it super delicious. I want to make sure I have enough filling to do all 8 of these biscuits. So I want to make sure we get plenty of chicken in there. It is chicken pot pie after all, so it should have lots of chicken in it. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make, you guys are going to think I'm crazy. I am not a fan of peas. I don't like peas. I hate trying to pick peas out of something. So whenever I make chicken pot pie, I love making individuals so that I can leave the peas out of mine. Hubby can have peas in his, and everybody is happy. And that makes a happy home. Before I add the veggies, I'm gonna go ahead and add some cheddar cheese to this. I will end up using a little bit of milk probably in this to kind of thin our filling out just a tad. All right, I'm gonna give this a mix real quick. Grab my milk. All right, got a little milk in there. That's gonna help kind of thin out our sauce. I'm gonna split this into 2 bowls. That way I can put just carrots in mine, and I can put the whole peas and carrots in hubby's. I think that looks about even. All right, so hubby's is here. We're gonna put all the peas and carrots in his. Mine, I'm gonna try to get no peas. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of peas. I am not. I don't like them. I don't like to eat them. Normally I use fresh carrots and frozen peas so that I can not have peas in mine, but I just going for easy tonight. It's been a busy week, and I'm ready to just sit down, have some dinner, and relax until time for bed because we have a busy day at church tomorrow. All right, I think that's enough. He also likes corn in his pot pie. You don't have to put it in yours if you don't want to, but we do like corn in ours. So I am going to put just a little bit of corn in each one of these. All right, let's give these another mix. And then we'll move on to our biscuits. All right, so I've got my biscuits right here, and I've got my muffin pan. I was trying to think of what this thing's called. Told you, it's been a long week. It's been a rough week. And we need to roll these out or push them out, however you want to do it, so that they are nice and flat. So I'm just going to use my hand to kind of push them out. And then we're going to pop these right in our muffin tins. All right, got mine. I'm gonna do 4 without the peas. These 4 filled. And I might have too much filling and not enough biscuits. So we'll see how this goes. If I end up with some extra filling, I'll just save it for something else. It'll be fine. All right, these are gonna go in the oven, 350 for about 20 minutes. All right, friends, just pulled these out. I definitely overfilled, sorry for the light back there. I definitely overfilled these, which it's fine, it's okay. I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna show you what these look like. I'm gonna put a little extra cheese on top of these, and then I'm gonna mix up that Caesar salad that I picked up from Costco this morning, and that's gonna be dinner. You can see these look amazing, but I am gonna put some extra cheese on these, and I'm just gonna let that cheese sit here and melt while I mix up that bag salad real quick. I wanted something pretty easy to go with this, just a really easy side dish. We both love Caesar salad, so I figured that would be a delicious little side to our pot pies. These look amazing. I think these are gonna be super good. I think, like I said, I definitely think that I overfilled them. I think I should have just made half of the batch. Maybe I put too much chicken. I really wasn't measuring, and I think that was probably the big problem with it, but they still look amazing. I think they're gonna be absolutely delicious. Let's get our Caesar salad mixed up and let's have dinner. Right, so this is the Caesar salad kit that I grabbed from Costco this morning. This is a good sized salad kit, so I'm only gonna make a little bit of this because I am not a fan of salad that has been in the refrigerator with salad dressing on it. So I'm only gonna make a little bit of this salad and then save the rest of it for probably tomorrow or something, but I do want a little bit of salad tonight to go with this. So I'm only gonna put a little bit of the cheese. I'll put a little of the cheese on there. I'm not going to use the packet of seasoning. I'm not a big fan of that, so I don't usually put that in. But I am going to put some croutons. And I've got two things that I love to do the Caesar salad when I have Caesar salad. It's my favorite thing to do, and that is to do some sunflower seeds in my Caesar. So I'm going to put just a couple of handfuls of sunflower seeds, a little bit of pumpkin seed. I love that crunch that you get from both of those. So we're going to put just a little bit of the pumpkin seeds in here. And the other thing that I'm going to put in the Caesar salad is some olives. It was something that when I was working for this house, the sorority house that I worked at, my boss there, it was her favorite thing to do is Caesar salad. I never had it before until Char did it. So I'm going to put in a little bit of sliced olives right in here. And then we'll put in our dressing. Now this salad kit came with 2 dressings. So I'm going to open just one of them and I'm going to see how much I need to use. I don't know that I'm going to need all of it, but I do want enough dressing on this because I love Caesar salad. You know what? I'm just going to use it. I've got enough, a whole other packet of dressing for that other portion of lettuce that I have in the bag still, and we'll have Caesar salad for another night. So I've got my tongs. We're just going to give this a really quick little toss together. Hubby loves a good salad, so I'm sure this is all going to go away tonight. Plus, I'm sure he's super hungry. All right, got our Caesar salad all mixed up. Let's get our plate. Hubby's is the one that has the peas. So let's see. Oh, look at that. They're coming out just look at that. That is so cool. They just pop right out of here. All right, so he's got 2 of those pot pies. Give him a little bit of Caesar salad. Get some of this stuff, seeds and the olives. Get that up there. And there we go, friends. That's our dinner tonight. Our cake is cooling. We'll come back and we'll put the milk, which is the 3 milks, on the Tres Leche cake. Friends, let's go ahead and poke holes in our pumpkin cake. Let's get the 3 milks on it so it can go in the refrigerator and sit overnight. And then tomorrow morning we'll make a delicious whipped cream to go on top. So Tres Leches basically means 3 milks. And so we're gonna put 3 different milks on this cake. But first we need to poke a bunch of holes in this. I'm just gonna use a fork to poke the holes in it. You want to have quite a few holes in this because you really need to have that milk seep down into that cake. That's what's going to make it super, super moist. And I'm trying to decide if I want to just do plain whipped cream or spiced whipped cream on this cake, or if I want to follow one of the additional additives that they had in there where they said you could do a cream cheese whipped cream, and that might be kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. But we're gonna do our 3 milks. So we need 1 cup of regular milk, we need 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk, and this entire can of evaporated milk. Let's see. All right, so let's put this entire 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, and then we're going to do our 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk. All right, so let's do 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk. Okay, let's pour that in here. Okay, I definitely need to get my spatula. All right, we're gonna scrape all this out. Okay, let's get that off of the spatula. First time I made a tres leches cake, I was terrified. I was like, that is an awful lot of milk to go in a cake, but it really does work. All right, we're gonna pour this over our cake, nice and gentle. This is why it has to sit overnight, because you really need that, all that liquid to soak into this cake. You're basically going to cover this entire cake in this milk. We're going to put our lid on it, and this is going to go, see how it's floating? But it literally is just absorbing right into that cake. I'm going to put my lid on this. This is going in the refrigerator, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Happy Sunday morning, friends. Hubby's getting ready for church. I just whipped the cream for the cake. Here is our cake. So I will tell you that I used all the liquid that it told me to use for this cake, and it did not soak it all up. So I think I kind of had a feeling there was way too much in there. So if I make this again, I'm going to cut that liquid in half. Only do half of it, but I poured it off because I don't want a big soupy mess. So got our whipped cream, got our pumpkin pie spice. We're gonna get this finished, get a lid on it, and we're off to church. So if you don't want to make fresh whipped cream to serve this, you can by all means use Cool Whip if you'd rather do that, if it's just easier for you. But I love fresh whipped cream, so that's what I'm doing. But you do what's easiest for you for this. This would be a great potluck cake if you wanted to bring this to a church potluck or a family get together. Use this instead of pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. This would be great for Thanksgiving. I think everyone's going to enjoy it. I think it's going to be delicious. Just make sure we get plenty of whipped cream all the way across. I'm glad that I'm doing the foil pan, so I don't have to worry about bringing a dish home or them getting a dish back to me or whatever. So I'm just gonna do a little sprinkling of pumpkin pie spice on top just for a little bit of color. I thought about putting some nuts on it, but I'm just gonna keep it simple. We're just gonna do the pumpkin pie spice and call it good. And there we go. There is our delicious pumpkin tres leche cake. That's going to be delicious for dessert after lunch, after our training this afternoon, after church. So excited to bring this. So thank you guys so much for joining me in the kitchen this weekend as we did a couple of fun, really super easy recipes for fall. Those chicken pot pies were fantastic. Hubby loved them. We'll definitely be doing those again when I want a really easy, simple chicken pot pie recipe. That's what I'll be doing. They're pretty filling. I only ate one. Hubby had, I think, 3, but that's because he was out working all day. So he needed it. I did not. I had 1. It was plenty for me, but they are delicious. So I'll leave both these recipes linked in the description box for you guys if you want to go check them out. And again, friends, I thank you guys so much for joining me and for being a part of this journey with me on YouTube. I'm excited for all the recipes coming out. We do have some favorites, and so we will be eating those things and sharing them with you guys as we go through the fall. And we do have a fun video coming up. We are going to take a little road trip one Sunday after church and head to a little town for lunch and just show you some of the beautiful fall colors that are happening around Oregon right now. But they're not quite there. Our weather's still been a little bit too warm, but they are starting to turn, and it is going to be beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful to me, I think, than fall in Oregon. So friends, have a great Sunday. I hope you guys have a blessed week with your family or work or whatever it is you have going on. And we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Have a great day, and God bless.